Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is the Managed Comics Thoughtstream for Thursday, May 5th, 2022. And I, as always, am your host, Brian Garside. And I am here to talk comics, manage comics, and we're going to do a whole Ask Me Anything. Looks like there's 4 folks here right now. So why don't you go ahead and chime in on the chat if you're here, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you, well, why don't I just talk about what we're going to talk about? So we're going to do a little bit of an update. We're going to talk about what we're working on and what the new things that we'll be working on are. And we will open the lines up for your calls. So let's get ready for that. We don't really have lines, folks, so you'll just have to chat normally. So here's the latest developments. We just released, I think it was like 10 or 15 things last night. And I went through and verified them all, and they all look great. So first thing is the most requested feature. The entire catalog is now available in Managed Comics 2.0, which lets you sort items by quantity, shelf quantity, subscriptions, or new series. So you can actually see every single item that's available in a Diamond, a Lunar, or a Penguin Random House order catalog, and they're all sorted by the codes, and then I think alphabetically from there. So yeah, that's our first thing that we've done. The second thing is, and the second most requested feature we've had, is the ability to use a Penguin Random House PDR. So you can now use the pre-delivery reports from Penguin Random House, and you can use those at the same time as an invoice that doesn't have the same items on it. So if you bring in the invoice with the same items as the PDR, you're going to be in trouble. So the PDRs, I believe, have been changed so that now they contain like this week's comics, but not all your reorder issues. So you should be okay as long as you're not grabbing the wrong stuff. Third most requested feature was new customer email alerts. So whenever a new customer joins your store, you will now get an alert in your email. I think it's that evening, but it may be the next morning. I'm not exactly sure what the timing is on these. So for example here, Bilbo Baggins joined the Managed Comics example shop, and that night I got an email about it saying that Bilbo Baggins had joined. And if I click on that, it's going to take me to his customer account in Managed Comics. So that's pretty exciting. Oh, that's bad wording. That shouldn't, as you can tell, I reused that last slide. So we now can clone email campaigns. You guys asked about that, about being able to clone an email campaign. So once you've sent an email campaign, you can resend the same thing. Remember, if you're going to send out like a cloned pulls email, for example, make sure that you change the dates that are in the subject line. I think what we'll probably do in the future, we're going to give emails a little bit of a break for a while. But I think having custom signatures or custom reusable blocks would probably be something that will be beneficial. So we will probably revisit this again in the future. Can you believe it? It keeps on going. So better binder pause support. If you are a binder POS customer, we now have the ability to write to some special files that the folks at BinderPause have added, which lets us kind of override the settings when they refresh their theme. So this is a really exciting one. We've been working on this with the BinderPause guys for the better part of a month now. And yeah, it's live on our side, and I'm pretty sure it's live on their side. I'll be honest, I forgot to send them an email and ask if this is live on their side. But I'm pretty sure it is, because they did this. I think it was scheduled in their update 2 weeks ago. Formatting the terms and conditions. You can now use the same WYSIWYG editor. That's what you see is what you get. Editor that is in our emails. You can use the same thing on your terms of service. So if you go to store settings and you can edit the terms of service, these terms of service show up the first time that a subscriber joins your subscription service, and they get notified of kind of what their obligations are. So we have a boilerplate version there. You can get in there and tweak that and make it super awesome. Removing multiple items from an order. We now have the ability to check a bunch of things and say, remove these items from the order. This is phase one of a massive change that we're doing to the order screens, which are going to help us better support both the Shopify POS and Binder POS going forward, and any other POS systems that you guys choose to use. And a bunch of bugs. We fixed the clone subscriptions from titles not having an issue number on them. That's kind of the first phase before we get to a point where I would really like to replace the issue numbers with a year that the series started in. That's data that we're going to have to generate ourselves, but we've got a bunch of data projects going on right now. Canadian pre-order pricing, when things were being invoiced or pulled from for Canadian stores, the pricing was getting all mixed up. So we went through and just streamlined the heck out of it and made it actually work properly now. In add new subscription, the first price result can get cash. So when you were adding a new subscription, if you like added Amazing Spider-Man to a person and then you clicked on add a graphic novel, and Amazing Spider-Man was at $8.99, novel could be priced at $8.99. So we fixed that problem. I don't think it actually carried through to the creation of the subscription. It was just a visual thing that was wrong. So we solved that problem. And here's what we're working on right now. So as always, you guys can go to roadmap.managedcomics.com, click on the roadmap there. You'll see what's in progress and what's on our to-do list. Right now, the projects we're working on are improving the POS Managed Comics integration. So this is going to be improving the point of sale app and Managed Comics integration for Shopify. We were going to do a whole like draft orders feature, but then we realized we don't need to. We can do all this through the actual Managed Comics app without creating a separate draft orders thing. And what we're going to do is, if you already have a draft order in through Managed Comics, you can convert that into an order. And that will mean it'll happen like instantly. There will be no email go out to customers. And also it's just like super smooth and seamless. So I'm really excited about that one. We're going to improve the Binder POS integration with orders. Actually, each one of these has its own slides. We're adding storylines, and I'll show you how complicated and confusing adding a big feature like storylines is. And then we're working on checking UPC codes for new updates. But I'll be honest, this is probably honestly not going to happen. As we've delved into it more, and I'll get into it kind of when we get there, it doesn't look like it's easily done without sacrificing a lot of speed on a variety of different things. So first of all, improving the POS Managed Comics integration, we're going to create a new button called Create Selected Orders. So you can actually create orders or create orders from items inside of an order. And what that will do is it will push it over to the Shopify POS with a pending payment. It should happen super fast. Like, I can't imagine this taking more than, for like a really, really large order, 20 seconds. It will bring over the order with all your discounts. It will bring over, it'll track the sale back to Managed Comics so that we'll know in the Managed Comics side that somebody bought these items. If they drop them out of if you delete them from the register part, I'm not sure if we'll get that information back. I'll check with the guys afterwards. Yeah, so this is really exciting. This is something we can do without building an entire dedicated POS app, because if you've seen Managed Comics on your point of sale, you know that it works fairly well already. So you can just click on the little Managed Comics tab, and it opens up Manage Comics, or I think it's called a tile. Click on the tile, it opens up Manage Comics. Then you can do a variety of things like find your customer and move their order over. It would bring in all their items to an order, which you can then just pull up on your till and cash the guy out, or girl, or person. There you go. We're improving the binder pause integration by adding a button called Fulfill and Restock, which essentially still behaves as if the customer has picked up all the books, and then it restocks them into your inventory so that you don't go into the negative quantity, and carries on from there. So then you do your entire transaction in binder pause as you would normally, and you're rocking and rolling. Storyline. So this is a new feature that we're adding. It's summertime, which means there's a whole bunch of different, series coming out that crossover. Things like Dark Crisis. I think Marvel has Judgment Day. I haven't looked at the latest catalog too deeply. There's things like Radiant Black has a bunch of kind of crossover one-shots and stuff like that from Image. We have Hulk Grand Design, which is 3 one-issue one-shots. Amazing. So somebody might want to subscribe to a Hulk Grand Design. We've got Demon Days, which has been going on for ages at Marvel with Peach Momoko. And there's been just a series of one-shots with that. The continuity between those is really tough. It's hard for a customer to follow something when they don't even realize that it didn't come out for 2 months and now it's out again. And then Batman White Knight is a great example of kind of a shared universe that keeps on returning. And we've got, the current Batman Beyond the White Knight, and then there's the 2-issue Red Hood that's coming out. So if we just had a Batman White Knight storyline, they would be subscribed to all that stuff. So the first part will be us in the back end. So this is our Geek Fetch database, creating storylines. And then we will create like a Dark Crisis storyline with all the items that are on the Dark Crisis checklist as they come out. We would add new titles to Dark Crisis. I didn't talk about the AB covers, but there's a solution for that we'll talk about in a second. Dark Crisis would adhere to our standard kind of AB cover rules, which I'll explain when we're done this part. Then in the admin on your side, your customers, you can subscribe customers to an entire storyline. So you can go ahead and say, this guy wants all of the Dark Crisis, or girl or person, wants all the Dark Crisis stuff. So you go ahead and subscribe them to all Dark Crisis. And on the customer front end, the series Dark Crisis will have a subscribe to this series, and it will also have a subscribe to Dark Crisis storyline. And you'll see a little thing on the side of titles in the storyline, Justice League, Dark Crisis, blah, blah, blah. If they clicked on any of those items on the issues where they are part of the Dark Crisis storyline, you would see subscribe to Dark Crisis storyline. So that is storylines. So as you can see, like that kind of thing requires a whole ton of extra thought that we have to do around it. And so sometimes those things take a little while longer than we'd necessarily like. Last but not least, check barcode before adding is a real pain in the tuchus. And the reason of it is that Shopify doesn't treat each product as a product. Every product has variants. So a variant, for example, could be t-shirts in small, medium, large, extra large. In comics, it could be different graded comics. So they all may have the same barcode, but the grades are going to be different. And so you're going to have different descriptions. Shopify gives us access to the top level product, and then gives us limited access to the variants underneath. And in all of our experiments we've done so far to check to make sure that we're not overwriting a barcode variant, it's tripled and sometimes quadrupled the speed of a pull. So we're talking going from like for a large pull, going from an hour to 4 hours, and that's not really feasible right now. So we're kind of, well, to be honest, we've put it on the back burner for a little while. Sometimes these things need to percolate before we can come back to them and figure out how to solve them. But yeah, that's kind of where we are with barcode checking. The idea was going to be no matter who you purchase something from, it shouldn't create a duplicate product. Problem is, every time you purchase a product, the handle can be different, the SKU can be different. The only thing that's consistent usually is the barcode, and even then, sometimes is not. Diamond might use the 10-digit barcode. Penguin Random House might use the 15. It's really a pain, or the 13 and the 18, or the 10 versus the 13. Like there's so many variations on this stuff. The other plan that I'm doing right now is planning for more info inside of initial order, so that we want to do this really slickly so that it doesn't take forever for a page to load. But so as you would click on things, you'd get things like description, a photo, creative team, retailer notes, your current orders, subscriptions, and pre-orders, which you also get along the side there. But you'll also get other things like your price. We'll give you some warnings around stuff where you have to order an extra number in order to qualify for a variant. And then the next step of this would be to get previous sales in. But I'd really like to get previous orders before we get to previous sales. So at least, last month I ordered 20. This month I should probably order 20 again. So now that we've got shelf copies and people are starting to populate that stuff, we're getting a better kind of long-term idea for what people are ordering. And then I've been planning a dashboard. This is literally my whiteboard from yesterday. I would like for when you log into Manage Comics for it to go to a dashboard. My thinking is like, what are some meaningful things? Obviously, activity, you have 5 pre-orders. Probably other activity would be you have 2 new subscribers who subscribed, maybe recent customer activity when it comes to subscriptions that have changed. We can add that kind of information. I think that knowing when the next FOCs and next initial order dates are would be good, and maybe giving you some color indication that's coming up soon. This month's stats with pulls, orders, and paid would be kind of cool. Probably a little further down on the page. So new customers, that's the next thing here. And then there was most subscribed titles, so that you could at a glance see that, your number 1 subscribed title is Saga, for example. So that's just something we're playing with. It's not urgent, and it's honestly just something I'll kind of fool around with over the next few weeks when I have spare time, which is not very often. Just a quick reminder, vote on features. The reason that 3 of those features got pushed so quickly was because they got a bunch of votes. And I was just in the process of itemizing what our next thing to work on should be. And the email thing got put up a lot because it had 4 votes on it. So when you see a feature you like, or if there's not a feature you like and that you'd like to add it here, and then mention it during the live stream, and I'll definitely promote it, and you can get some more love for your favorite feature. Okay, let's ask me anything. So I saw a couple of quotes here. Love them, happy feet dancing. So Madness was talking, I believe, about the binder pause integrations. So those are those are there, and you guys were largely responsible for helping us kind of get talking to the right people and make this happen. So thanks a lot to you guys. Cowabunga Comics says, love the ability to subscribe to a storyline. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, I'm really happy with this one. Came about because, one, it's something I've always wanted to do. We've been thinking about this for years with our classic product. And 2, I wanted to that's funny. Just saw another comment. 2, I totally lost my thought. I don't know. Oh, I heard some people talking about it recently, especially around Dark Crisis and how many things that they're going to have to follow. So I thought it was about time. Jessica says, I'm listening to this and uploading back issues for the first time and noticed that after we upload a CSV, some titles show sold out. I didn't click anything different on those titles than the others. What direction should I look to correct it? And any ideas what I did to cause it? Jessica, are you saying that the copies are 0 right now? What will happen is Shopify goes through and it goes through and creates all the products. So if you're uploading a lot of products, it creates all the products first, and then it goes back at the end of it and updates the quantities. So you may just need to wait a little while. The other thing that happens, unfortunately, is occasionally Shopify freaks out and then it just forgets to update the quantity. We have a project in place where we're going to be able to kind of push that quantity thing. But if you've done that relatively recently, just wait. It'll resolve itself over the next like 20 minutes to half hour usually. Jessica says, okay, that makes sense. Madness. Oh, guy, girl, person. Yeah. My daughter reminds me all the time. As an extension of the storyline, which is awesome, would there be an option to subscribe to a series of variant covers, i.e., Gwen? That would be something kind of in the future, I guess, that we would have to think about. Yeah, that I mean, that could be a storyline. Is the whatever those covers are called, we could create that as a storyline. Yeah, that's something we can definitely look at. And these are great things that as we so as you think about those ideas and if you see that we haven't added a storyline that you think should be a storyline, that will definitely be a case where you should throw a help@managecomics.com email to us and we can look at it. Kyle says we could have used that with Devil's Reign. Oh my gosh, could we ever? And it's funny because this happens so often. Madness says, I'm getting pre-order notifications each day. I'm thinking one of these is left over for 1.0. How can we clear that one up? Well, I will look at your 1.0 and see. Do you know, is it the old? Does it have like the old logo? Because I think those ones used to come with the old blue logo. Is that something that you're seeing? Pre-order. I'll take a look at it today anyway. Occasionally. I don't remember what that was. So Jessica, I think you're saying during the live chat that the things actually came around. Lance Lever says, super cool. Hey Lance, which store are you with? Just out of curiosity. Madness says, themed cover option would be great. Walt says, hi Brian, is it correct that the app is not available for EU stores? Yeah, well, I got your email earlier today. I just haven't had a chance to respond yet. Right now, we've opened it up to just British stores right now. So there's a couple reasons. First, we had a couple of classic users that needed to port over to 2.0. We're not fully working with Diamond UK yet, so we're still kind of working our way through that. And we're also working on UK pricing and just some various pricing things. So it will be a little while before we're available fully. Right now we're at about 75, 80 stores. We've found a lot of little things that we have had to tweak. So it's kind of slowed out our global rollout. But yeah, we will get there. And I'm a little concerned about multi-language. We've done zero testing whatsoever on multilingual. I know we have a Quebec store that has tried multilingual and it didn't work. So yeah, we're gonna have to take a look at some of that stuff. So it's a little bit further down the pipe. We are a tiny team. We're me and 2 developers and a data guy and a marketing guy. So we just need to kind of go through all the motions one at a time. Walt says English should be fine. I appreciate that. So just give me a little time to kind of figure out a few more of the UK quirks before I I would feel terrible if we start rolling it out to more and more stores in the UK and we're not fully kind of UK compliant. So just give me a little bit of time on that. Lance says, Iron Lion. Oh my goodness. I recognize Aubrey, but I've not noticed you before, Lance. That's awesome. Jessica says, storyline subscriptions. I may have missed you say this already. Can somebody subscribe to an artist? So we don't have artist subscriptions. We do have that data. We just haven't created kind of on the front end. We'll need to start showing artists and then creating artist and writer subscriptions for sure. Yeah, so that's caught us up here. I'm trying to think if there was something else that I had to talk about. You guys can go ahead and keep on asking questions. There's a whole plan to do a lot more of the various kind of ways that you can subscribe. So writers, artists. The problem is that data is not very good right now. There was 1 month where all of Marvel's data for all the stores, all the comics, said that it was Chip Zdarsky, and I can't remember the name of the artist, but literally every single title was created by Chip Zdarsky and this artist, and obviously that wasn't the case. So it took us a while to fix that, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm worried about kind of slipping through still until we get more kind of regimented checks on things. We'll be working a lot more on our GeekFetch database in the next year, and especially kind of over the summer. I've got plans to crowdsource it at some point. So we'll see where that goes. Where can I get one of these hoodies? This is from a company called, and both the shirt and the hoodie, which I'm double Spider-Manning right now, for Doctor Strange, which I'm going to see tonight. The company is called Destructo Disc Designs, and they do really, really cool hoodies. So check them out. Destructo, DISC Designs. Yeah, DC recently. I know, that's hilarious. Spoiler alert: it was Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Rizzo. When a barcode doesn't have info and it asks that we fill it out, does that then make that data available to all Managed Comics users? Yeah, so we actually have a vetting process where we go through stuff and vet all of the information that comes in. I got to stop touching my desk because I see I'm really jiggling here. So we have a vetting process where we vet all that information, and we're often merging stuff because one of the things that I've noticed, so one of the issues that we'll be resolving soon is you may have entered it as a 13-digit barcode and we have an 18-digit barcode in our system, or you entered 13 digits and we only have the 10-digit barcode. We need to make our system a little more intelligent so that it can match up those things, because that 13-digit barcode has the core 10 digits in it. The 18-digit barcode has both the 13 and the 10. So we just need to smarten our system up so that it notices all of them. Got a plan for this. Like everything, it's kind of like we'll get to it as soon as we can find the time, because there's always something super important that we're trying to crush. Right now, our biggest projects, just for total transparency, is stuff around the point of sale and stuff around initial orders and FOCs. Once we get those two things really, really hammered out and looking awesome, then we're going to start focusing a little bit more on data. We jammed this storylines thing in because it's just the time of the year where this becomes a really, really big hassle for stores to manage, and we want to help them manage comics, right? Huh? Yeah. Puns. Jessica gets it. I have a fly somewhere in the underground there. So speaking kind of more long term, and why don't I bring up my roadmap, and I'll actually go over to this screen over here. Yeah. Yeah. Good screen. Let me just share that screen with you. Share a screen. So again, you guys, if you go to roadmap.managecomics.com, you can add a feature request. So if you've got something you'd like to add, this is where you'll do that. I've seen a few new things like stores want to add Asmodee as a vendor, so that's definitely something we can do. Yeah, data is kind of the big thing that we'll be working on for the next little while, but you'll see exactly what we're working on. So this is the three primary stories that we're working on, and then this is kind of the stuff that we're working on fleshing out a little bit more before we start working on it. One of them is second printings. Second printings and other alternative printings. So not just third printings, but also facsimile printings and stuff like that that people might want to get. A good example is the image first, which still come out in the image series code for the title, but obviously you don't want to pull that as part of the title, so we have to treat it a little bit differently. So we treat this stuff as reprints, and I want to be able to show more of that stuff in the series item. Yeah, and our changelog, of course, is where you'll see all this stuff. So even though I didn't officially announce this stuff till this morning, all of our new features went up last night, and we posted this changelog item last night. I think I posted around 10 o'clock at night last night. Yeah, so that was that. I just want to shout out our social medias. We've got Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and I haven't really done anything with them since, I want to say, like, yeah, it was March the last time I really posted something. Of course, we posted about Neil Adams passing, but I haven't really done much with our socials for a while. So I went in and as of this week, we're going to be spotlighting a different store that uses Managed Comics, and I'm starting out with kind of the old school guys. So AJ's was literally the second store who ever used Managed Comics after All New Comics. All New Comics was my test shop. Had it running for about 2 years before we started marketing it, and within days of us marketing it, AJ's came on board. So I wanted to give them a little shout out. They've got a great little website here that really kind of speaks to the unique selling proposition of their particular store. So every week on Thursdays, I'll be posting a new store. I think next week we're doing Dreamers and Make Believers, who was the first Managed Comics 2.0 beta store. So we'll talk about them. I got All New Comics up there, of course. And then we're going to do some roadshow stuff. So we'll be kind of announcing some of that stuff as well. Which kind of takes me to the Managed Comics Roadshow. So beginning this month, we're going to do kind of an Ontario roadshow. So what we're going to do is start visiting comic shops. I'm going to start taking videos of as many shops as I can, and we'll start posting those as part of the Thoughtstream. I'd like to do them kind of at the end of an episode. So we'll have this little kind of time capsule of all these different shops. I did a test with my local comic shop who just came on board with 2.0. They've been a 1.0 classic user for quite a while. They just came on board with 2.0 this week. And so I did some shots in their shop just to kind of get a feeling for how I'll do these. But yeah, I would love to do, I want to start touring as much as of North America as I can. So I'm going to start out kind of local. We're going to do London, Kitchener, Waterloo, Guelph, Cambridge, and Hamilton over the next few weeks. And then in June, the Niagara Falls Comic-Con is in the first weekend of June. So I'm going to pop down there, and I'll make sure that I go and visit, Big B's and a couple other places along that way. In the end of June, my son and I are going to Detroit. So we're going to spend 2 days and try and hit as many Detroit stores as we can. July, I'm not sure what we'll do, but it'll be something fun because that's a great time for trips. August, planning on going to C2E2 in August. So I'm going to do a Chicago tour of a few comic stores. And of course, we'll be visiting Challengers, Comics and Conversations. September, so the North IQ side of our business has some clients in upstate New York. So we're going to do a trip to upstate New York, hit Buffalo, probably Rochester, a couple other places around there as well. So yeah, this is our initial plan. I would love to, visit Florida in January next year if we can get down there, and there's tons of other places. Man, we have so many stores in Florida and Texas. So if I can hit Florida and Texas in the next 12 months, I think I'll be set for content for quite some time. So that's our next plan, is the Managed Comics Roadshow. Next week on the Thoughtstream, we're going to do a full system walkthrough. I haven't done one in quite a while. And Big Ben says you'll have to visit us in the Detroit area. That's totally our plan. I've got Big Ben's, I've got Time Travelers, and I've got Comic City as three, because you guys are all Managed Comics customers. So I'll be making sure that I visit you guys, and I'm hoping to have a little present by then if I can get it created in time. So yeah, it's been a while since we've done a full system walkthrough. So what I'd like to do next week is I'm going to record a full walkthrough of everything, which will include the point of sale. And I'm hoping that our POS changes are done in time for that. So I'll be able to walk through all the point of sale stuff. I'll be able to walk through, a check-in, orders, converting an order to a sale, all that stuff, even initial orders and some FOC order information. So yeah, if you guys tune in next week, I think you're going to be in for a little bit of a treat. I'm really excited about this. And like I said, it's been a while since we've done a full system walkthrough. So we'll get one of those in. And then I think that's going to about do it. If you guys don't already have Managed Comics 2, you know to go to managedcomics.com and get it. If you need the guide, you can go there and enter in that form, and it will actually send you the guide. So if you don't have a current version of the guide, that's the best way to get it. Or you can send me an email, and I'll make sure that we get it to you. Nick says he's looking forward to seeing the front ends more. That's awesome. We can definitely kind of put that on the list. I can also just walk through some front end stuff right now. I got nothing better to do with my time. So on the front end, the two most powerful things I think about Managed Comics are not just the ability for a customer to subscribe to things and to change their subscriptions on the fly, but I think, and I'm not even showing the right screen right now. There you go. There's the right screen. So I think the two most powerful things are not only the ability for a customer to just manage their own subscriptions, which they love. The other thing is that basically every single page on your website becomes an advertisement for subscribing. So as a customer, if I'm signed in, which I'll sign in, I've been having some problems signing in today because Shopify is being a jerk. So yeah, if I want to go ahead and sign in and subscribe to an item, it's really easy. I can also pre-order upcoming covers. This is a change we did a couple weeks ago where we actually show all of the upcoming issues now. And folks really like that. One of the changes I want to do at some point, but this will be coming down the road, is give you the ability to what I call slipstream in a cover. So if I'm already subscribed to Radiant Black, and AB covers, this is something I want to talk about, is we're changing up the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P cover subscriptions and only allowing A and B covers. And we're treating B covers as a normal cover unless it has a ratioed variant, at which point you'll have to subscribe to the A cover. There's too many problems with too many different stores or companies offering, multiple different multiple different covers that aren't actually available month over month. So we're going to streamline that a little bit. Slipstreaming, like I was saying, would be the ability for me to just change my Radiant Black subscription to this cover for 1 month, and then go back to my regular A covers otherwise. Madness Comics says, does this show FOC? Yeah, we see FOCs on all the different areas. So you'll see it here. You're going to see the FOC on the next issue. And that's another thing. I think we may change the term FOC to last call. We'll probably leave it here as final order cutoff, but I think up here we're going to change this browse by last call. It just makes a little more sense. LA Mood says, thanks for updating us to Manage 2. Yeah, it was my pleasure. And I was glad to get back to the shop a few times this week and walk Matt through how to use the system. My subscriptions. So this is one of the problems with us kind of jamming our content into every single frame, is that sometimes things break. So we've got a never-ending battle of kind of fixing stuff like this when it happens. But on the front end, as a customer, I see all my subscriptions. If I want to delete something, like let's say I want to delete Amazing Spider-Man, my final pull will still be Amazing Spider-Man #1. That's weird because Amazing Spider-Man should not be. I wonder why that one's still. I shouldn't be able to pre-order those covers. So, see, this is the kind of stuff that we find every now and then. Weirdness like this, where information's all weird because there's probably something wrong with one of these covers. You can browse by release date as a customer, and you can browse by FOC. So yeah, if you want to just see what things are on the final order cutoff this week, this will show you that. And of course, you can browse by the different types that are available. And as a store, the stores can control which types are available and browse by the different publishers. So that's kind of the front end in a nutshell. You can also, like basically anything that's in the catalog, you can either subscribe to or pre-order. When you're pre-ordering things, you'll actually get you'll actually create a request for the store where they're going to have to go in. The problem with a lot of this stuff is it doesn't have final order cutoff dates, and it sometimes doesn't even have order dates. So we don't know whether or not a store can still order this item. So that's when they find out. Does browse by FOC update for the next week, the day after the last FOC? So browse by FOC is an interesting one. I think we have some items that are available on FOC for next week, but this usually doesn't get updated until Monday at noon Eastern time, because that's when the FOC items actually come out. I think we get DC at some point on Sunday, but the Marvel and everybody else isn't until Monday at noon. And then it's not finalized until Friday at noon. So a lot of this changes significantly on Fridays when we get an updated file. So that's a great question. How quick is Managed Comics to update changes in release dates? We update our data, I want to say 3 times a week. So if it happens on Monday or Friday, we get it. If it would happen on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, right now we don't do updates that way. So it could take a couple days, but yeah, at least twice a week we get that information. And that's the front end in a nutshell. I was actually going to do a full kind of walkthrough of things like build orders so that you can see how a customer can pay for an order that's been billed through the system. So if you have somebody that's kind of a laggard, you can actually create an invoice for them and they can pay for it through your website and then you get paid. They'll also see any pulled orders that have been done for them that haven't been created as orders. And then, of course, the nice thing about Shopify is it will carry their orders forever. So they'll always be able to see orders that they've paid for. And this one I haven't fulfilled for the person, but they'll kind of have a history of everything that they've ever bought. So if they want to know, hey, did I get Angel number 2? They can go back and check it out. And I think in Shopify you should be able to search for. I don't know. That'd be tricky. I don't know if you can do a if and kind of search in Shopify. But yeah, there's a lot of information available to the customer as well. Yeah, that'll about do our front end talk, and we'll definitely go over a little bit more of this next week. Yeah, I already answered that one. I answered that one. Shows FFC. Yeah, cool. Yeah, if anybody else has any other questions, you know where to get me. I'm available all the time at help@managecomics.com. Happy to walk you through stuff. If anybody is new here and hasn't had a one-on-one walkthrough of Manage Comics, you can go ahead and do that by if you go to managecomics.com and you sign up on that front page. We'll be sending you an email fairly quickly that says, go ahead and sign up for a time to walk through if you'd like. And I'd be happy to walk through the system with you. Yes. Happy Free Comic Book Day, everyone. So Saturday, I'm going to go visit our local comic store in the morning. And then we're going to hit the road and hit Kitchener-Waterloo and see a few other stores. Cause I think that'll make some really good visuals, having long lineups and stuff in our videos. So yeah, for sure. Happy Free Comic Book Day. Please don't go crazy. And I wish you nothing but success this weekend, folks. And hopefully great weather everywhere. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week. In the meantime and in between times, if you want to get a hold of me, help@managecomics.com. You want to see what we're working on, roadmap.managecomics.com. And we will see you next week. Thanks a lot.